We are the first podcast that he has ever come on. So Simran Singh of RNFI, he's the Chief Strategy Officer, also the main co-founder. In fact, you had no plans of creating an RNFI.
This gentleman came as a blessing in disguise and he got this project started, paid us a token amount, but when the system was to be taken, he said, my funding round has not come in, so sorry, I'll not take the delivery. We put in 10 lakh rupees, lost 7 lakh rupees in the first week itself. Then we did not want all the compliances to be in one company, so we formed a subsidiaries.
And how many customers transact on your systems today?
Should be more than 1 million customers a month.
Wow.
We are a very, very close-knit company where everybody takes care of the company as if they are a founder. The day the IPO opened, we all were at the Golden Temple. And by the time 30 minutes we are coming out, the IPO is already subscribed.
The entrepreneurial role is different and the managerial role, which is the CEO's managerial side, is very different. लोग कहते हैं कि we want somebody else to run the business, but to actually give up the reins, because right now CEO is the one everybody reports to.
Yeah, even I report to him. For us, RNFI is more important than what we are.
I see.
That is how we're building the organization around.
Well, welcome to a fresh episode of Damani Talks, and we have an amazing entrepreneur who has an incredible journey. And I think even though the company went public about 6 months ago, after meeting him, I feel like the journey has really just started. In many ways, it seems to me that this SME IPO that was done is like a Series A or a Series B round of a very high-flying and very fast-growing company. So without further ado, I love the fact that I could get him to come on the show and that we are the first podcast that he has ever come on. So Simran Singh of RNFI, he's a Chief Strategy Officer, also the main co-founder at RNFI. Simran, welcome to the Damani Talks.
Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you very much. It's my first time, so let's see how it goes.
We'll make sure that it's a lot of fun.
No, thank you.
But that getting said, Simran, I want to get right into it. You've had a very interesting journey into why RNFI got created. In fact, you had no plans of creating an RNFI. Because I believe you grew up, in a lower middle class family. In fact, from what I know, that there was a time you had to drop out of college to make ends meet and join your father's construction business. So very much a journey that I would love to understand how that has shaped in many ways who you are today.
I was born and brought up in Pune, basically,
Achha.
belonging to a lower middle class family. Parents did all they could. In fact, more than what could they do to get us to study well. We stayed with cousins who were like super, super rich. But honestly speaking, they never made us feel like they were rich and we were poor. Really, we learned modesty from them, and that's how the life journey has been, to be modest as much as possible. It was like not a typical hand-to-mouth situation, but a month-to-month situation for sure. And that is where I did my schooling. I got into college at Bharat Vidyapet, could not pay the fees. It was so I dropped out, joined dad's business, a small railway construction business again. It didn't work out. Left Pune, came to Delhi, stayed at my cousin's place, obliged to them because they really treated me well for the first year there when I stayed with them. And there is the journey started. Not a typical very nice journey. For the first few years, doing small-time works and development jobs. And suddenly one fine day, somebody comes up and gives us a development project to develop a system for domestic money transfer. That was the in thing that time company is getting big funding, so he wanted to do it. We built it for him.
How did you get into web designing?
कुछ तो करना ही था यार. So the idea was to do something and make money and keep surviving and keep lasting. The goal was very, very clear: keep surviving, and someday we'll be able to do something. So all four of us.
There was 4 founders.
Yeah, all 4 of us used to work together only, 6 of us in that office, and day in and day out trying to make meet. So this gentleman came as a blessing in disguise and he got this project started, paid us a token amount, but when the system was to be taken, he said, my funding round has not come in, so sorry, I'll not take the delivery.
Oh, wow.
So there we got stuck with the system basically.
But ये तो पहले भी हुआ होगा. I'm guessing in the kind of business you're in, not getting paid would have been.
Yeah, but this was like a big system. We put all our money, all our time into it, and we got stuck in it. It was a very big project for us at that time. Ranveer then took a call and said, I want to do this project. Let's launch it in the market. He was very sure people will love it. And we told him no at the first time and we don't know. So he told, okay, I'm forming this company. But later on then he insisted and we all joined in the company. We launched the project. We put in 10 lakh rupees. Lost 7 lakh rupees in the first week itself.
I want you to talk about the story because when we were talking about it earlier, you said, ki bhai, what were you building? What was this domestic money transfer?
Domestic money transfer is a system where money could be transferred. As per RBI guidelines, there's a bank at the back end.
Right.
And you could transfer up to 25,000 in a month from cash to account or account to cash. It's more for rural population, people who need assisted services do money transfer.
And which year was all of this happening in?
2017,
So
basically.
this is sort of
16, 17.
16, 17.
Yeah, that's the time Microsoft invested in Eco company, and that is when the craze of all these companies were going on.
Acha.
We really didn't want to do this. We didn't know if an A or also banking. So we took an API from a company in Mumbai by the name of Udio. We plugged it on the back end, launched the system. First week, a distributor took away 7 lakh rupees. We left with 3 lakh rupees, cursing Ranveer that he's got us stuck in that situation. But the next week, everybody started loving the system. We got calls from distributors. They would want to do this business. And that's how the journey started.
And the way the system works is and just for clarity, is that you have these distributors across India and they can either collect cash or they can either disburse cash.
That time it was just domestic money transfer. These products, later on as the journey grew, we keep evolving and keep adding more products, and that is how we got into more and more products.
So how would it work then? So let's say I had to send money from here.
Suppose you were a daily wage labor. That was them. UPIs were not there.
Correct.
You went to a kirana shop in the neighborhood. Said I want to send money for 25,000 to my wife at home. He would pay the charges to that kirana shop. The kirana shop would then use our system, which would naturally be the back end in the bank.
Correct.
And the money would be transferred to his wife's bank account. That is how the system.
So it's cash to bank account or bank account?
Yeah, cash to cash is not allowed in India. It has to be a cash to a bank account.
Got it. And then how did you lose this money then?
Because we trusted the distributor and he said, okay, because nobody's going to give me advance. Nobody knew us. So we trusted him. We told him we'll give you the value.
So for this to work, the retailer has to keep some advance with.
Yeah, with advance to it. That's what we do now.
Achha.
But that time, the scenario, nobody would keep advance with us. Nobody knew us.
Achha.
So we told him, you use our money, do the work, and then you pay us back. He didn't pay us back only. So
wow.
We left.
But that was a big exposure to one distributor, wasn't it?
Yeah, but no. See that time it was like all big players working in the game. Suvidha, iCash, ITZ Cash. Nobody's going to trust us. So we had to take a call. Somebody agreed, but that is how then the journey began basically.
So then after that first, क्योंकि तो पहला झटका ही हो गया.
Yes.
In the first week, 7 lakhs gone. What was the learnings from that first jhatka that sort of, because from there obviously the journey has changed. Let's imagine a 3 lakh, 10 lakhs becoming 3. And from 3 lakhs today, you're almost a 700 crore market cap company. So the journey really started from the first jhatka, is what I feel.
Journey started from the first jhatka. More than that, the journey is all about evolving. Fintech space in India is very evolving. If you keep evolving, you'll keep winning. If you don't evolve, you'll not be able to do anything. So we evolved ourselves a lot. Being techies, Ranveer takes full-time care of the tech, Nitesh supports him. We do a lot of tech play at our end so as to improve the service, get the cost down. And that is what worked for us basically.
And Simran, just so that, people understand now that once you got this distribution channel going, right, how did UPI, because technically now you would believe UPI is a competitor to you.
See, those are the long days. We've gone back. Now over the years, we've evolved ourselves and we're saying we are here to disrupt the last mile financial service and staffing market.
Okay.
So we still do DMT because it still makes money. It might not do the volume which we used to do earlier, but we still make more money than what we used to make earlier.
Got it.
So we keep doing it. So as far as you're compliant, you still keep doing some business, would always be there. Market share would naturally reduce, but you have to keep adding products. Now what we've created a runway, which is very, very nice, a railroad. And now we want to ride as many products on the runway or the railroad and use the vast network we have to distribute. So uh, we had stopped calling ourselves as a fintech 3 years back
Acha.
and called more of ourselves as a tech distribution player, and that is what we want to be. We penetrate deep into the rurals there basically, and not just for now just doing financial services, but we plan to evolve into other industries as well basically.
So today, RNFI is sort of more of a holding company. I feel there's a business there, but then you have multiple businesses below that because you've got international money transfer, you've got domestic.
It has to be compliant, isn't it? So then we did not want all the compliances to be in one company. So we formed a subsidiaries. One is a forex company, and another one is we are a corporate insurance. We are an insurance broking firm as well. Basically, these are our two subsidiaries. One is Spaceprint, which is more on the digital side. So there we're trying to evolve again, basically, like instead of having a competition with UPI, working on the way the digital India is moving. So that's what I said. It's more about how we evolve and how we do things. That's it.
Very interesting. And so today, how many people work at RNFI?
We got a 2,500 manpower company, right?
Wow. And spread across?
Pan India.
These are all full-time employees.
These are like full-time employees of a company.
And then you've got, I think, number of retail, or I think you call them Sahayaks.
Yeah, Bangalore. So we have got along 170,000 active Sahayaks. Active means people who transact on our system, basically. We got more number of agents, which were around 400,000. But they are no use to the company, or they could be used in the future. 170,000 is the active Sahayaks working on a system day in and day out.
And where are they spread out? Where is the major concentration?
98% postcodes of India.
98%. So where is the, I guess, the highest concentration of this? Where are you getting most of your business from?
See, it would be from the Bihar, UP, Madhya Pradesh. These are the stuffs where they got more business coming in from. See, every business is, you will get domestic money transfer more from cities like Mumbai, Delhi. But an Aadhaar-based withdrawal and an MEATM withdrawal would happen more from the rural hinterland. So that is how it works. So that's why the geography is well spread out, basically.
Very interesting. And how does somebody become a Sahayak? What's the...
See, right now we got this manforce, 950 people on field, basically, who day in and day hunt agents for us, and that's their job, basically. We got manpower in Pan India everywhere, basically.
Acha.
Yeah.
And how many Sahayaks are you usually adding?
See, for us, we'll never tell you what Sahayaks are adding. We'll say how many active Sahayaks are added, because that is how we made our business on.
Correct.
On a month, we are adding around 6,500 active Sahayaks, basically. That's a month on.
Wow. And how many customers transact on your systems today?
Should be more than 1 million customers a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 lakh customers a month.
Yes.
And what I understand now is you're now looking at this Sahayak and saying, okay, you have this domestic money transfer business. That's one business.
Yeah, that was 8 years back. And then we started evolving. Told him we have the money transfer business. Why don't you do our Aadhaar-enabled payment system?
So you're sort of creating this guy into becoming like a mini agent.
Yeah, it's an agent. See, every agent won't do everything.
Correct.
But the volume is so huge. Somebody would do something for sure. And that's how we keep evolving our business, basically.
And so today, what all services can be done through this agent? If let's say somebody wants to subscribe to all of them.
He could do a domestic money transfer. He could do an Aadhaar based on a micro ATM withdrawal. He could do EMI collection for all the NBFCs or the MFIs or the banks. He could do recharge. He could do bill payments. He could do, in the future, he could do travel. He can do railway bookings. In the future, he'll do travel bookings. We plan to make them POS agents.
Wow.
For our insurance. Future, we could do mutual fund distribution. Isn't it? So,
and I think you're also, NPA collection is also...
Yeah, that's delinquent loan collection is very big business of ours, basically, once more. And that is how we are getting this Sahayaks as DRA certified and then make them do the collections also. That's how we converging everything into...
But there's so many gamut of services, Simran. How do you decide what's the next thing to add to them? How does that process get...
See, India is a very vast country. A DMT will not work in Bihar. But an AEPS would work in Bihar. So you have to pick up states and work according to what is required there. And that is how we pick up products. We got around 15 products coming in the future in the pipeline. But one thing is for sure, there's not going to be a separate marketing team for them. There's going to be one simple distribution team there, and adding on more agents, adding on more products. That's the key to what we are building on.
And from what I understand, you've been profitable throughout this journey,
Yes, right from the first year.
right from the first year.
See, we really never had the leverage of having money to burn because we were never funded. So we had to earn money, make money, and then reinvest money. So
no bank loans, these kind of things.
we took our first bank loan when we got our building done. We got our own headquarter building made.
Oh, you own the building that you...
Yes, we own the building, yes. Yeah.
Wow. It's very rare for fintech companies to own hard real estate.
See, honestly speaking, there also we did it because we wanted something in the future to there, because we never knew whether the fintech would survive in the future or not. Because so when we made money, we thought, let's make this building of our own, so at least we have something. The building is then again on the RNFI's payroll. We never had money to make on our own, so that is how everything is made from the RNFI only. So we, honestly speaking, we never gone for marketing. This is the first time I've come on a podcast also.
Correct.
We are more than happy to project RNFI than to project ourselves.
I think in many ways, the reason why I talk to entrepreneurs and the why behind it is because I feel that their companies are an expression of what they want the world to be, right? At least their world around them to be.
See, honestly speaking, the entrepreneurs, I listen to a lot of them, and they say they would like to change the world. They would like to change the ecosystem. For us, our world is the people who work in RNFI, our agents, now the shareholders and investors.
Correct.
And as a policy, as a mindset, whatever you can say, if you could change lives of these people, I think this is our world basically. The rest we'll see later.
That's why I say, I think when people say I want to change the world, they should really say that the world that I can affect.
Yeah.
Because you can't change 7.5 billion people overnight.
I don't know what the future holds, but for now, the plan is to change the world of the people who are in touch with us, who have helped us reach here. Be it people we don't call employees, people who work with us, the agents who work with us, and now the shareholders also, because somebody has trusted them with their hard-earned money. So now this is the world we would like to change.
And interesting, you never raised any venture capital or anything like that. You just went straight IPO.
With us, we really went to raise funds.
Achha.
And he told us, you're profitable. Why do you need money? And this industry, nobody would give money to, because people before you have lost the money. So nobody would
And
give.
there are many competitors before you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Raise money.
Yeah. So they said, so with us, it's always like this. The more a no is said to us, we don't take it on an ego, but we start working more hard. So we're able to achieve that. So we went for the IPO road, and that is how it worked for us. Very nice.
And at the time of the IPO, when you thought about going for the IPO, what was the thought process of saying, hey, because, I think about a year ago is when you must have started the process, or at least thinking about an IPO. And then I think you IPO'd about 6 months ago. And the stock has performed very well. I think you're up almost 140% or
170%.
70% since the IPO, right? And it's locked in upper circuits even today, which is all awesome, right? But at that time, did you think about the fact that, hey, would I rather have an institutional investor who I know and who will keep me private, and I don't have to be subject to, at the moment you're once every 6 months, but at some point you're going to be once every quarter.
Anirudh, we never had choices.
Achha.
Nobody was ready to give money, so we had to go for the IPO route.
But what was the reason for the IPO? What we
wanted to raise funds, expand more,
Achha.
and get into more products, get into more licenses, and that was the whole idea about it. We've still not used the IPO money. It's lying. We've used it for the capital to increase our business. Otherwise, we not spend that money. So the idea was never to raise money, because we'll never do something which loses money. So it was more so that we could put money and grow more faster. That was the whole idea about doing the IPO.
And how did lives change after the IPO for you?
It's the same.
It's the same.
We rang the bell at 10 o'clock. 12 o'clock we were in office saying, okay, it's done now. We got a bigger responsibility. Let all of us get back at work. And we'll party once we are able to give better results at the end of this year.
What's the goal for the party? Main board?
Yeah, main board for sure. Main board for sure. That's what we're aiming for in the next few years.
Okay.
And that's what we're working hard on. That's what we're doing basically. We are a very, very close-knit company where everybody takes care of the company as if they are a founder. Our top core team is we're working for donkey years now together. And people who joined recently in 3-4 years also, but they'll always you'll never find a resume of the core team of RNFI.
Acha.
You'll never find a resume. We take it as an offense if somebody could do that. So you will never find that. People love the company so much. There's a lot of trust between each other. We had to hurry up the IPO because the market was booming that time. So we could not make the ESOP trust. And we can't do it for the next year, as you know.
Right.
But there's so much trust between everybody there. There's something has been told that will happen. So the trust is the foundation of this company. Everybody works like it's their own company. I am just a face to be true. There's so much hard work going on by everybody, the other founders, Raman, Ranveer, Nitesh, Kapil, and a lot of old people there. Now the new team coming in. Now we can afford to hire people who are experienced. And that is how we're developing.
And interestingly, you've also locked in some way the founders also into ensuring that, because you created a trust of some sort.
Yeah, because honestly speaking, we want RNFI to be RNFI, not Simran to be Simran or Ranveer to be Ranveer, basically. So it will happen for the growth of everybody, including the people who have worked with us throughout the years. As I told you, it should be Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and that's how we follow. That's what we're trying to do.
Quite amazing the way you're building this company. Please, the thought process around it, because Simran, you don't have a fancy degree, right? And from what I know about your team, none of them really come from fancy IIT.
All are lower middle class, lower colleges. And see, it's more about the culture there. We always say somebody might be more talented than us. And there are a lot of people who are more talented than us. But if they work 10 hours, we'll work for 18 hours, 17 hours and cover up our weaknesses. So that is how we build that organization around.
But I was at Ashish Tulsian's office and I went up the wrong stairwell. Ashish Tulsian runs a company called Posist, also called Resto Works now. And I found a poster which I took a photograph and I'm getting it posted in my office. It says, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard enough.
100%.
And I think you're embodying just
yes,
that.
That's been throughout. It's like, if somebody's talented, it's very good, super good for them. But we need to up our game. Then we need to work more hours, learn more things, so that at least we can compete with them. It's a competitive India, isn't it? So that's what we follow on.
So what kind of businesses, to the founders who are listening in today, because I remember when I first met you, right, I was just writing the names of companies that I know that should work with you, right? And I've been trying to make connections that, hey, you're doing something very unique and interesting, because there's just so many businesses you touch.
Any business who wants to distribute into the rural hinterland, we could do it for them basically, very easily. And then we have no egos to put somebody's brand name or stuff like that. Our main requisite is what makes us money. The PAT is the main KPI of the company, and we would like to keep it that way. So any founder or any businessman who wants to distribute in the rural hinterland, we would be there, as long as technology is involved. Without technology, we would not be much useful for them.
Are you more focused on fintech, or are you saying that, hey, obviously fintech, which includes insurance and all that?
See, right now that's itself a huge industry, isn't it? But who knows the future? I right now the funds I have enough funds to do my fintech business very, very well. So in the future, we don't know, we might become a product distribution company, but not for now. See, for next 4-5 years, very clear in the mind, we're not going to be a high capitalized company.
So you're looking, focus would be fintech entrepreneurs, whether it's insurance, whether it is lending,
it could be anything. Yes.
And you also, and one of the business you also have is foreign remitters.
Yes, there again, we wanted to do an MTSS that time before COVID, and that is the reason we got into the forex business, because the guidelines say you have to do forex business to some time, and then you get an MTSS basically. So that is the reason we got into the forex business.
MTSS, just for the people that want.
MTSS is inward remittance into India. Western Unions what do basically.
Correct.
So then we got into because we never wanted to do that. No plans.
Especially for the people working in the Gulf and other
areas. Sending money in India. So that is something we got into it. But as I told you, our DNA is to doing it profitability. Otherwise, we don't. So that is also profitable. So we're doing it for now, basically. Now we applied for an authorized Tier 2 license. Once we get that, we'll get on the extra remittance part, and they're sending money abroad, and there we would use our network again, basically, to generate business for us.
So one business does for this. They've got this business that does forex. Got a business that does domestic the money transfer to bank accounts and agent based. What I would say, like mobile ATMs in some way.
Yes.
And then broking, insurance broking, now mutual fund distribution. That's a lot of businesses, and that would require some really hard engineering.
But the thing is, technology has never been a problem for us. We're very good at that. Distribution, we've learned over the years as to how to manage that. But we're not going to do it in a hurry, basically. Every product is going to take 3-4 months and then launch the next product. And see, the manpower on the field is going to be the same. Who's going to distribute? Who's going to find agents for me? We don't plan to get into the B2C space for now. We go to the B2B2C space. So the manpower is going to be the same. My few agents would do that product, and few agents would come onto the system, basically. So that's how we're trying to create.
Your IPO obviously was a blockbuster, right? I think it was oversubscribed some 221 times, right? And it debuted at a 90% premium. What was that feeling like to watch your stock price? I mean, it would have been, I think founders still owned about 60% plus of the company.
Yes, 68% in all. See, we never expected it to be a blockbuster itself. But our faith in Bhagwan, God, whatever you call us, very, very unclinching. We work very, very hard. We're lucky he supports us. And that's how we reached. The day we filed the DRHP, the core team of 70 people were at the Golden Temple. The day the IPO opened, we all were at the Golden Temple.
Acha.
I still remember we went to the Golden Temple early in the morning because when the subscription started, we wanted to be at the Golden Temple.
Okay.
And by the time 30 minutes we are coming out, the IPO was already subscribed. So we've been very lucky that way. God always helps us a lot. Yeah, we do put in our hard work. That's a catalyst. But a lot of people put in hard work. But God is really, really kind to us, and it helps us grow as much as we can.
So people that are now thinking about doing an IPO, right? And you've been through the journey. Many founders will put in their decks and to us as investors, one of the exit opportunities for us as investors would be IPO. You've been through that process. How would you describe, is it easy? And what are the hurdles and challenges that any founder should be ready for as they prepare for an IPO?
See, one thing which we learned is your governance should be strong from right to the start of the company, because that's going to count when you're going to file for an IPO.
I see.
Yeah, that's the very, very key thing there for the investors also and for the exchanges also. So that is something we were very, very totally doing it. So it was very, very easy for us. Again, I told you, we are like lucky children of God. For us, it has been a cakewalk. I guess not more than 3 calls. We had 4 calls with investors, and that's how not much we did, and it worked.
But what was the hard effort you did then? Prior to
hard effort was always, then again, as I told you, we didn't have the luxury to burn. So the concentration was on the PAT.
Achha.
And the PAT only worked for us, isn't it? Ultimately, the PAT works.
Absolutely.
The industry has changed. Earlier, people used to tell us, y'all are fools to concentrate on the bottom line, and the top line used to matter. But the last 2 years, even if you are a very big investor, then the first thing you ask is, what is the EBITDA? What's the PAT? Now people have stopped even asking EBITDA. They've started asking, what is the PAT?
I thought EBITDA was always a useless.
Yeah, so now people have started asking PAT. So that worked out very well for us because the concentration was always on the PAT.
Right.
So that worked for us.
But I think also in many ways, like today I know companies that find it so difficult, and one of them I can name is Byju's, for example, because it's very public that it was taking them 2 years to finish audit for a specific year, and then they want to go IPO. And I always ask some of the founders that are in my portfolio that claim that we'll go for an IPO, can you get your audited returns done by June 30th? Which to me, somehow I feel founders at every size find it so incredibly difficult to do it. But you can see companies like JSW Steel or one of these large, they always get their returns filed in time. So is that a cultural shift that the person needs to make, or is it actually that difficult to get your
See, actually, when you start business as a founder,
Hmm.
you do a lot of work. So you want to grow, you're excited. Everybody does not have the privilege of getting funding at the first stage itself. So really speaking, there are always some things which get left behind because you're not too good. You can't hire good lawyers. Can't hire good chartered accountants. But as you progress, you keep learning those things. And somebody who wants to do an IPO, you should take the governance part and the profit part very, very seriously. That gets you respect.
And how soon should you start that process? Like of having a good CA? Because, a good CA, let me be honest, a good auditor is going to be a thorn.
Yeah, we always used to think at the start that this is too much money to give a good auditor, hire a good legal, but that works in the long run. That really works in the long run.
And so how would you advise? Like what kind of an auditor, what kind of a law firm should you keep?
Somebody who's honest to you.
Acha.
That should be the key, basically.
So it doesn't have to pander to whatever you're...
No. They have to be honest to you.
Because that's what's going to say, that a good lawyer and a good CA will always call you and tell you what you don't want
Our
to hear.
company changed after Nimesh joined as a CFO and Niyar sir joined as a chartered accountant. Our company changed from there.
Tell me how.
The first 2 years were like every business we were running, last minute completing the returns and stuff like that. But when they came in, they put in a process that this is required, this is not required. And that is how it was a pain to us for the first 3 months when Nimesh came as a CFO, because Nimesh is very, very strict. We all are afraid of what he wants, basically. So, but in a year, we were in that same mode. And when the IPO came in, and when they came us, the merchant bankers came us to audit and check things, they were surprised as to what we were doing very, very well. And that is what worked for us, honestly speaking.
Wow. So you're saying, in what way? Like what are they?
A good CFO is very essential.
Acha.
That's what I say. And a good chartered accountant is
When did the CFO get hired? Like what stage of the business?
3 years down the line, for the third year. Yeah.
For the third year. And what kind of revenues were you at when the CFO came in?
Making 20 lakh profit. But we thought it's better to invest in that because we were very, very weak at that.
20 lakh was annual profit.
20 lakhs was the annual profit. But we thought if we want to do it properly, we would need a chartered accountant to do it properly for us. As I told you, we're very good at tech. We're very normally good at business, but we're very bad at finance. So the chief executive officer we hired also is from the finance industry. He's a CA again, basically. So we would like to, so we know our weaknesses. So
that's a very interesting decision, Simran. Like for the, let's say 2015-16 you started, or 16-17 you started, 8 years into the journey, you get an IPO done based on obviously your face and the face of all your co-founders. And 6 months into the journey, you decide, you know what, the day-to-day functioning of this company will now be with a CEO.
Yeah, because I always thought the mistake we would make it would be in the finance, basically. So we didn't want us to drive the company. We want somebody else to, we keep doing our part. I still do the business, go in and out. But we want somebody to say, okay, this is going wrong. And that is all. So that's the reason.
But it's बहुत difficult, है ना? लोग कहते हैं कि we want somebody else to run the business. But to actually give up the reins, because day to day now, CEO is the one everybody reports to.
Yeah, even I report to him.
Acha.
Even I report to him. So there's nothing can be done about it, isn't it?
It's a very rare thing. I mean, I'll be very fair and honest. It's been very few founders that I know have brought in a CEO. Right? I know Ritesh at Oyo did. He got a CEO very early because he also realized in many ways that this day-to-day functioning, the entrepreneurial role is different. And the managerial role, which is the CEO's managerial side, is very different. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I consider we can come with new ideas every day.
Yeah, that's it.
It's very easy.
See, earlier you have to take the decision. Now you have to do a budgeting, get to him for his approval, get to a CFO for approval. So that's how. And see, that's the beauty about our setup. For us, RNFI is more important than what we are.
I see.
That is how we're building the organization around. Honestly, and I think we're in the right direction. We do make mistakes, but at least we're making the right direction. It's difficult reporting to somebody. Not naturally it is.
When you're also the largest shareholder.
Yeah, but what could you do? You have to happily do it, isn't it? All the founders do it, not only.
When the decision germinated कि अब CEO चाहिए.
See, we always wanted somebody from the finance background to lead, because we know that is a weakness. We don't know how to do that. We never we going to run a large business. We see ourselves as a very big company. So we wanted that process to be set in right from the start. So that is how it's there. Tomorrow, if required, my role is not there. I'll lead the role and get somebody else to do it who's better than me. That is how the company should all be about, isn't it?
The company is paramount. Your individual.
Yes, 100%.
Because I think what you've effectively done is separate the owner and the operator.
That was separated the first day when the trust was formed.
Right.
There's no promoter who runs the trust now. There's no promoter actually. The trust is the promoter.
Explain this, please.
See, basically the trust is governed by employees.
What is this trust? I just want.
Trust is all the shareholders. Before the IPO, we parked all the shares in the trust.
Achha.
Trust is run by individuals of the company, employees of the company, 4 of them.
Okay.
Ranveer is the only one there on our behalf because he wanted a bridge to be there between us and them. They can even take a decision and remove anybody they want to. So
all your shares and your co-founder shares are all in this trust.
All in the trust.
It's a very unique structure. I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
The idea kaise? I mean, you have these amazing, really simple ideas, but with very far-reaching clarity,
See, you are an investor, okay?
Correct.
Tomorrow I go and pitch you, you fund into my company. The valuation says around 800 crores, it goes to 2,000 crores. And I change my mind and say, okay, I am selling my stake. So Raman says he's selling his stake. So you would say that was not committed to me that you're going to get out. But how could I control what Raman is saying? So we parked everything into the trust so that everything what happens, it happens for the benefit of RNFI. So it's very clear. The company is paramount. We are just ordinary employees now, and that's how we want to be, isn't it?
But eventually, if you want to get some liquidity, how do you do it?
Oh, the trust would sell the shares, and then everybody would get liquidity, isn't it?
In the same ratio.
In the same ratio.
So no one makes an individual decision to exit.
No, nobody makes an individual decision to exit. So that's how the structure has been built up, basically.
And how do you bring such consensus between 4 founders?
See, as I told you, there's a very big trust between 70 people, even on the 4th. See, we are not 4 founders. We just started the company. So people call us founders. There's 70 people who are doing all the... There's 2,500 people doing the job, but 70 core people running the company. So in our case, everybody is a founder. Not only us, everybody else is a founder there. So everybody runs it as their own company. So in us, consensus is very easy. 70 people arrive at a consensus in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We might argue in a room. The difference of opinion there, it is going to happen, isn't it?
Correct.
But once something is decided, that's the common goal. And that is how we run the company.
And today, obviously now that you have public shareholders, but are you adding some more to those 70 people? Or now the new ESOP holders or the new people who will eventually get ESOPs, they will be outside this?
See, anybody who's talented, his talent would be, okay, 80%, 70%, that's fine with us. But one, he should be same as his vision should sync with our vision, basically, point A. Second, he has to be united with us. And a lot of people have joined in the last 2-3 years, and they're also core team members. Kiran, Rahul, ex-bankers, they've joined the company. They go, and we proudly say for them also, you'll never find their resumes also anywhere.
And how do you tell us the process of now finding a CEO? Very interesting, because I don't think this is a question I ever get to ask anybody.
See, there again, we wanted somebody from a financial background, somebody who's been a CFO of a big organization.
I see.
And somebody who we could trust.
Correct.
So Krishna had worked as an CFO in MCDX.
Right.
We knew him from before. He's a chartered accountant for sure. His integrity is impeccable. So we requested him.
How long was the dating process?
A year.
Before you offered, or he was aware कि ऐसा कुछ चल रहा है?
I offered him. I went to Ranveer and me went to his dad's house, his dad to request him, but he was at a very big organization, so they didn't want him to take a risk to move to an organization which is smaller.
Right.
So
this is pre-IPO, 1 year
pre-IPO. Then eventually this worked, and now he's joined as the CEO.
And I mean, interestingly enough, I did not know that this when I came to meet you, that Krishna was your CEO, right? Somehow I missed that disclosure. And he's actually my first cousin's husband.
Yeah, you did. You told me that. You told me.
And very interestingly, he's been, even when he was a advisor to you all, he's been trying to make us meet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And kisi reason se, whatever the reason may be, that serendipitous, I would say, that we never met each other. And it was a very funny thing that what happened, right? I come to the office and I'm like, hey, like, "Arey, wo zara Krishna ko bulana." And I was like, wait, Krishna kaun hai? Right? And then I turn around and it's you know, to my Jiaji, right? And I'm like, "Arey, aap yahan kya kar rahe ho?" He's like, "I'm the CEO of this company." But like you correctly said, I think very, very down to earth, very hard, honest worker, I would say. And I think he's transitioning into the role now. I think about 4 or 5 months.
No, it's been 2 months now. Basically.
2 months. Okay.
Yeah, another 1-2 months he should be there in the role. He's already holding the guns for us, and we'll be loving it. Other founders are happy developing the systems because they love doing tech. I'm happy going and doing business, and somebody doing it, isn't it?
And what I realize, Simran, is that now you've got the CEO, but you're also, now you have all these subsidiary companies. One of them has also raised capital from Fino Payments Bank, right? And you're also having, I think, different CEOs for each and every one of these.
Yes, that's natural, isn't it?
Okay.
Suppose from insurance industry, we really don't have idea about the insurance industry. So getting somebody experienced to run that business for us as a CEO, and he knows the compliance parts. It's easy. It makes it easy, isn't it? Finding the right person is difficult, but when you have the right person, it's very, very easy. He runs the day-to-day affairs. We look after the tech. See, the tech distribution and finance is common for the group, and he's able to run the company as he wants to.
Very interesting. And then so you have now the insurance broking business. You've got PaySprint.
We got PaySprint, and we got the Forex business.
Correct. Each one of these is separate, right?
Each one of them is a separate subsidiary.
And then ReliPay is...
And ReliPay is the parent company. That's it.
And that also acquired another company.
It's in the process of acquiring. It's still not closed. It'll get closed very soon.
This is the one you guys have acquired from Sugal and Damani.
Yes.
By the way, no relationship to this Damani.
No,
different Damani altogether. Although I know that Sugal and Damani family very well. Yeah. But that's a whole different... So that acquisition has also been done. For somebody who doesn't understand finance, let me just make it clear, you've done a lot of things that are quite financial genius.
It's more about learning, isn't it? What others do, how they're stuck.
So who do you follow? Who are you trying to emulate as an entrepreneur? If there's somebody you look up to.
If we were to evaluate, Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. Why Richard Branson?
Every problem has a solution, isn't it, for him? So you see, things don't work at the same pace. You go up, you go down, you fall drastically down. How soon you get up and start solving issues, that works, isn't it? So
right.
It would be a Richard.
And he also had to deal with a lot of regulation, right?
Yeah, it's got Richard Branson there, and if here it should be in India, it should be Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, isn't it?
Right.
This is also a rags to a riches story and how he did it. So we really follow that line. You push us back, we'll work hard, we'll work more hard, we'll push ourselves again, you push us back again, we'll work hard, we'll come back and achieve it. That's been the story throughout our journey, basically.
And how do you deal with so many regulations? Like each one of your business, you've got SEBI, obviously, that looks over your entire business, but then you've got RBI, IRDAI.
See, we've chosen this industry, so we have to live with it, isn't it? So, and whatever the decisions are there, you have to follow them, isn't it? So right from the start, you follow the regulations, you're very happy. You make mistakes, they're going to punish you, isn't it? But we'll not purposely do something. We might make a mistake while doing something.
Inadvertently.
But otherwise, we try and follow every guideline which is in the book.
I think one of my last couple of questions before we get into rapid fire, I want to understand beyond this business success, right? What else motivates you?
Honestly, it's just RNFI. That's it. Everybody has a passion. For us, RNFI is a passion. When you've been in a stage in life when you have to think about survival for the next month, it's a very difficult stage, isn't it? So for us, this is more loving. So that is the reason it's all about RNFI. It's not about us, no egos, no hassles. So if required, all four of us would resign from the jobs also if it would betterment for the RNFI, isn't it? And we do something else. So that is what, so for us, all of us, our first love would be the company, basically.
And how do you come up with like newer and newer ideas now? Like, what's your motivation? Are
See, once you get into the market, you learn what the problem is. What
so
the
are you
solution
visiting
is
your
there.
retailers or Sahayaks?
Yeah,
How?
you learn what the solution is, what products are wanted.
Hmm.
And secondly, you learn from your competitors too, isn't it? What they're trying to do, what they're trying to do well. You learn from other people in the fintech industry, what they are doing, why you couldn't do it, why you could do it better. And that is how you keep doing.
Very, very interesting. I honestly thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, Simran, because your team culture is very unique. Your journey has been extremely unique, and you're also dealing with in an ecosystem which is, at least in the last 12 to 18 months, has seen a lot of regulation, right? And it's really been in the media for the wrong reasons. But you've built something inside this space. It's almost like a moat that you have.
I always tell my team this. जो सबके लिए होता है वो अच्छा होता है. So if a regulation is there for everybody, the fittest survives. So you be fit, move ahead, and then you'll be able to take the game. So whatever happens, your chips go. If it happens only to you, okay, you could say I'm unlucky. But if it happens for everybody, there's nothing can be done. You have to work hard the next moment and try to be as fit as possible and get past that stage.
That's true. And but to also have that mindset, because the regulator in India, we're one of the most active, I would say, globally, it's also changing and evolving very quickly.
See, the regulator is not at fault at all.
And I don't consider them
people find loopholes in the system, so they have to change. So nothing can be done. So when they change, even if you're doing something properly, you have to bear a pinch or there. But since you're doing everything's right, okay, you will have pain for a few days, few months, but then you again start doing things what you're trying to do, isn't it?
And is there any books that you read that have been helping you out?
I read only one book in my life, and that is Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. That's the only book I read in life. Really don't get time. The first thing, 8 a.m. we're off to office, 11 p.m., 10 p.m. we leave office. So that's.
So do you subscribe to Mr. Narayan Murthy's, like 996 kind of a culture?
See, it depends from individual to individual. It worked for me. So it worked for us. So,
but what about the team around you? Like, because the 2,500 people, are you?
See, that's again, the 70 people are all lower middle class people, where for us, changing our lives, our family's life is more important, isn't it? So I told you that's the mindset we've.
Correct.
Somebody who wants to work a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, we'll tell him, okay, come work with us. It will be a barter. You give us business, you take salary. That's it. But he'll never become a part of a core team, because our core team works in a different setup, basically.
I really wanted to talk about this, because this is a raising debate in the ecosystem, but also within many companies, right? That
each one. Somebody is super talented, he might work 9 to 12 also, isn't it? And get his work done. But for us, we're not that talented, isn't it? So we have to really work hard.
I like how humble you are, but you're you're creating some groundbreaking technology at the moment. But how do you so you're saying if my core team members would be, let's say this 996, they're working, thinking, living, breathing RNFI. But I also need to keep some space for people who are going to work 9 to 5, but then they can't participate as an equity holder at the same level as you are, because obviously you're...
Because we all are working hard day in and day out. And somebody who comes, we would need such people also, isn't it?
True.
And we would more than be willing to hire. But then there's going to be a barter, isn't it? You come and give us something, you take back something from us, and that is how it works.
In fact, I had a similar conversation, and it's going to be on a couple of podcasts that I've spoken about, is that many founders are actually transitioning into this now. I think pehle kya tha ki we wanted the entire company to be 996. I'm also now learning this. Just so you know that everybody should be 996, right? Because everybody should work 12 hours. Why should you work less? But I think now there's a mindset coming that maybe some people would do the 996 and some would do the 955 or 956.
See, everybody's a different individual. That's it. So you have to respect that.
But the rewards are different for this group.
Yeah, but he might be super talented and get a reward also according to that. That could be possible too, isn't it? But as I told you, we are not that so talented. So
because it's always difficult to figure out like कि वो जो 996 कर रहा है and जो 9 to 5 कर रहा है, how do you say that this guy is at the same level of impact as somebody who's on?
So जो 996 कर रहे हैं ना सर, उनकी तो मुझे कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. कोई भी आ जाए, कोई भी चले जाए, उनको पता है कि उनकी पोजीशन किधर नहीं जाएगी. So I'm very these 996 70 people are very, very content with what they are doing in life.
Perfect.
They know that in the short term they might be losing out, but in the long term they'll always be a winner as long as the company is a winner.
Correct.
So a new person would come in. Actually, everybody won't sink into our idea. Somebody would be super talented. We would need him. And he would say, I would just work 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, Monday to Friday. And so, welcome. You do what you want as you do, and you take from us. That's you'll have to do that, isn't it?
You have to. I think it's also the cultural differences you create. Sometimes, again, वो होता है ना कि you're sitting on this side, looking at the other side and going, अरे मैं तो 996 करता हूँ, but do I agree that he provides better impact?
Yeah, honestly speaking, it's happened in the past also. Few people have come in and they've not worked as we would want them to.
Right.
But the core team has even taken them on as seniors also because they were more experienced. But see, that's the culture in RNFI, and that's what we built it on. It has to be for the betterment of the company. If somebody is coming for 9 to 6 also, I have to work 9 to 9 also. But it's for the betterment of the company. So be it.
So be it. Very, very interesting. I think it'd be, in a future episode, I would love to, like, because as you scale this, and I know there's a massive scale coming, as you've talked about, you know, you, like, for example, I know at Google you have two different streams almost, right? At Google, there's one stream where you develop a team and you're sort of a team leader, and then you keep going up to director level. But they also have another stream where you don't manage anybody, but you can still be a director. But effectively, you don't have a team. You're a
RNFI itself is a flat organization. There's somebody reporting to somebody. That is just work-wise. This is to be done, this not. Otherwise, a flat organization. A peon can come and tell me, you're wasting electricity, why are you doing that? And I would say, sorry. And that's how we build the organization.
That's amazing. Well, Simran, I really enjoyed this conversation, and it's really been enlightening because it's truly, this is the kind of businesses now being built in it. Like, the story is about the Indian innovation that you embody, and the fact that, no external funding, IPO, you're definitely at the cutting edge of fintech and profitable. I think you're breaking many belief barriers in the fintech ecosystem कि अगर fintech में कुछ बड़ा करना है तो पैसा burn करना जरूरी है, बहुत टाइम लगता है पैसा बनाने के लिए. Breaking those barriers in people's minds, and that it takes a long time to get to IPO. I think if you look at your journey, it's about 9 years to IPO.
See, where we started, we never even thought about IPO. It was more about
no one does.
First, it was more about selling the software and getting the money we put in, the hard work. Second, when the software was ready to somehow reach a stage where we're making more 1 lakh rupees, and that should be more than enough.
Right.
We're making much more than that. We still draw a salary which we were drawing before the IPO. We're still drawing the same salary. We'll continue to
the food tastes the same.
Nothing changes. It's more responsibility. Suddenly somebody calls up and questions, what are your plans? What are you doing? You have to answer, isn't it? So it's more responsibility. But that is what we wanted, isn't it? We're creating wealth. So we're creating wealth, not wealth.
And how does that feel? Because in many ways, right, when you're let's say a private company that has raised private capital, you know who you're reporting to as shareholders. Today, the shareholder for you is effectively changing in many ways every single day.
So it's a disadvantage and it's an advantage too, isn't it?
How so?
So if I have somebody who's invested into me and his mindset does not match with me, then I'm stuck and the company is stuck with him, isn't it?
Correct.
Even I could be wrong, but the mindset does not match, isn't it? With a shareholder, at least I have so many shareholders, isn't it? And if somebody does not like, he's going to sell the shares and get out of it immediately because he thinks we are not a good company.
True.
And somebody who might sync with us, he'll stay for the long term, isn't it? So it's a different game. We're learning it. We're not experts. Well, one thing is for sure. We don't look at the share market.
I think that's the recipe for short.
Yeah, we got a guardian who taught us the first day you should not be looking at the share market, and that's how we.
I've heard of, there are certain, and I won't name them, but certain promoters out there that check the number of the shareholders buying and selling every single day.
No, we basically, in our office, we're not allowed to discuss the share price throughout the day.
Acha.
Once the office gets over, we surely look at it. It's our company. Dekhna to padta hai.
Correct.
So, but that happens at the end of the day.
How do you deal with public criticism of the company, if there is any? Because now you're publicly traded, you have to obviously, results may not always be as per.
Ab tak to aisa hua nahi hai, but you'll have to learn, isn't it? If somebody is telling you something, you'll have to listen to it. And if it's right, you'll tell them, thank you for giving me the advice. We'll follow it and do it much better, isn't it?
Correct.
But one thing is for sure, we'll try and make it a very good corporate company where individual.
I think if as long as you can crystallize what the culture you have built and the culture that you want to continue to proliferate. It's not even I'm not making a recommendation of buying or selling the stock. I'm just making a recommendation of the culture you're building.
Yeah.
And that's
So we're very sure about what we are trying to do. We might not achieve it in the short term, what we want to do, but for the long term, we are sure, because we're going to keep persisting with him, keep working hard with it, and integrity is surely there. It's a 70 founder company, 70 people founders. How could that company go wrong, isn't it?
Well, wonderful, Simran. Before I get into rapid fire, right, which is where I get a chance where you cannot prepare for the answers in advance. But I just want to ask you, before we wrap up, this was your first podcast experience. How does it feel to be here? What do you?
It's a great experience. I'll come to know what it has been after a few people in the office see that and criticize or love it. But that's the way it has been, isn't it?
No, wonderful. Thank you so much, Simran. We always end this show with a rapid fire. We ask you about 7-8 questions. Whatever first comes to mind, you just let us know, and then possibly that could lead to some tangential conversation as well. So are you ready for this? Do you need to have a sip of water or something?
No, nothing else. That's fine.
Good. What's the first thing you do as soon as you wake up?
See the RNFI report card for the last day.
The report card. This is like a...
What's the business we've done throughout the day, basically?
Does it come to you as a PPT? How does it...
No, it's an app which we have, basically.
Very interesting.
The first thing the next morning, we open the app and see what work we have done throughout the day, and the reports.
Is this like a single source of truth for the organization?
Yeah, what we've done. We calculate profits on a daily basis.
Really? Wow. Amazing. And do you think that level of... Because I do it on a weekly basis. I go through the financials on a weekly basis. I don't do it daily. Definitely would love to get there. But how has that changed your mindset when you see it every morning?
If you're going wrong, you understand that something has gone wrong yesterday. So that won't go wrong today. So, see, ours is a very game which involves a lot of cash flow, lots of...
True.
So if you've gone wrong, if some people in the company are there who watch it every 2-3 hours to see everything is on the right track, basically. It's all system generated. Nobody's doing it manually for us.
No, but I many founders find it scary to see numbers on a daily basis.
See, it's always better to see it before than you'd see it later, isn't it? At least you could do something about it if you're able to do something.
I am a big proponent. I mean, see, Marwadis and Gujaratis, there is a concept that every Friday you check the trial balance.
Yes.
So you know in the last week which way
if you're able to check it before, at least you'll be able to do something about it.
Correct.
So that's the first thing I do it in the morning, basically.
Wow. Amazing. Habit for everyone to follow. If not an entrepreneur, what would you be doing?
I'll be an entrepreneur. I won't be able to do something else.
Do nothing else. Let's see. 3 words for the Indian, in your case, I won't say startup, but the Indian entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Challenging.
Okay.
Opportunity. Vast.
Wow. I think that literally covers everything that you had to say. Wonderful. What's one app you're obsessed with right now? And you can't say RNFI. Besides RNFI, is there any other app that you are obsessed with?
I really don't have any other app I'm obsessed about. Leaving RNFI. That also app I'm not obsessed about. I really don't get time. I see 2 to 3 times a day. Otherwise, not any other app. I really don't get the time.
Is there a book you would recommend every entrepreneur to read?
Losing My Virginity.
Yeah.
The more he loses, the more he fights. So that's the way it goes.
It's one of my favorite books, by the way.
Yeah.
So
that's the only book I've read. So I can just tell them that's a good book to read.
No, I mean, and I think the way he's even, I think I love the stories about also how he kids around with his own CEOs, right? And he has to stay in jail one night because he creates some sort of a dacoity kind of event at one of his CEO's house. But I think that's the kind of, I think you're almost trying to build an organization like that where there is that level of trust, but you're also fighting a common cause.
Yeah, see, our main strength is we trust each other a lot, basically. So though we plan to right now have 70 people, in the future to have 500 founders, and that's how we would like to develop it. See, money does not give us kicks to be anyone. Honestly, we've really got more than what we desired in life, isn't it? So after that is just a number, isn't it? It could be a number every year, and that's going to keep increasing every day, isn't it? So money does not give us a kick. It's all about how much value we could add to people, change in life to people around us. Because if so many people are put in trust, we have to see that the trust is not besieged, isn't it?
Outside of RNFI, do you go to movies? What's your passion?
See, whatever happens, we all are together for so many hours a day, 12, 13 hours a day, 6 days a week, maybe sometimes 7 days a week. So if we go for movies also, we go for movies together. So it's just like a family. That's
But personally, are you like a movie buff?
No, once a while.
Okay, so is there any, like, do you like superheroes? Are you like one of those?
No, I could watch a Shah Rukh Khan movie, isn't it?
Shah Rukh Khan, would you say Shah Rukh Khan's your favorite actor?
Yeah, that's my favorite actor.
Okay, wonderful. Because one of the questions they ask is, who's your favorite superhero? So I was asking you whether you have like a Batman or a...
My favorite superhero is my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah, she would find every solution for me.
Well, Simran, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Your journey is really an inspiration. Again, not coming from a lot, and the fact that you converted what literally was, in any way, as a dhoka keh lo, aap ya ki ek jhatka keh lo. Like, you took one of those hard hits in life where a client doesn't pay you and created a business that originally that client wanted to create. It's almost, this is what a Bollywood movie should be made of, and Shah Rukh Khan plays you in that movie.
All thanks to Ranveer. He keeps telling us we've reached a stage because I took that call that day. So all thanks to him, honestly.
I think there should be a movie and Shah Rukh Khan should play you, right? And
not me. This is more about all of us. That's the movie I would like to create.
No, wonderful. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. And until next time, and I will definitely have you back at a future episode, because I want to really see how
we've evolved.
How you've evolved. I think like Space Print, really pay, and the other businesses, because I think the way you're going, maybe in about 2 to 3 years, right? We'd love to see RNFI become everything that you want it to be.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.